What's going on, STR Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the From the Host podcast. I'm your host, Mike Sjogren, here with my co-host, Mike Riley. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, I'm doing great. Just hopped off a coaching call with some of our students, and one of our students was having a little bit of a challenge with getting her offers accepted, and she's put in a few different offers, and it's just been struggling the last like 3 or 4 weeks. And what I asked her was like, "Well, how many deals are you looking at?" And she said, "Well, I'm looking at like 2 or 3 a day." And then I asked her, "Well, how many markets are you looking at?" And she said, "Well, I'm probably looking at like 8 or 9 markets." And
Wow.
and so that was kind of the light to me there. If you're looking at 8 or 9 different markets, you're not really looking at one. You're doing too many things at once, and that's what we talked about. I know, Mike, you and I have talked about that a lot too, and this goes for more than just markets, right? There's so many different things in this business. We need to keep our focus on a single activity at once, right? So I don't know, Mike. What are your thoughts? What would you say to her?
Yeah, there's huge power and focus, right? And this isn't new information, but as you're listening, ask yourself if you're actually following this, right? So like before I got into short-term rentals, like I knew real estate was going to be the vehicle for me. I had been reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and all these different podcasts and different books about real estate and buy and hold and creating cash flow and all this stuff. But I was chasing a lot of different rabbits. It was like, oh, okay, like this makes sense. Like I could wholesale some deals to build up some cash flow and then maybe do some owner financings to keep some of those deals. Or maybe I could find some investors and like flip a deal. Or maybe I could go after some small duplexes. And then I was trying to raise money to do like syndications. Like I was chasing all these different things and getting like shiny object syndrome, basically. And then it changed when I just committed to the short-term rental strategy. I was like, I'm not looking at anything else. Like people send me deals constantly. And I'm like, I am only focusing on short-term rentals. Okay. And that's when things started to take off. Now you take that level of focus and then you whittle it down in your funnel. Right. So it's like, okay, I'm only focusing on short-term rentals in this case. Then it's like, okay, what strategy am I using? Am I buying? Am I co-hosting? Am I doing rental arbitrage? Like what strategy? Stick to that strategy. And then it's like, okay, what markets am I looking in? I would honestly not look at more than 2 markets when you're getting started, right? Like analyze a couple markets, see if the numbers make sense. Grab the free starter pack. We'll link it down below. It's totally free, but it gives you a bunch of training on how to use AirDNA and some of those tools and how to analyze properties. Like analyze 20 to 50 properties. Mike, you've probably analyzed 1,000 deals at this point or close
Yeah,
to it, man.
at
Like,
least, at least.
but that's going to give you a flavor of that market. And if you're like, you know what, this market doesn't make sense, okay, fine, move on to the next one. But you need to give it time and you need to give it focus. If you're trying to analyze 8 or 9 different markets at a time, there's not enough mental bandwidth to honestly make that work. Like you're not going to be able to really know that market, like what neighborhoods make sense, what property sizes make sense, what property types make the most sense, what amenities do you need to really make this thing pop. Like you need to focus and go deep and get really clear on like what is the best bang for this buck in this market, right? Like you need clarity and you need focus. So again, whether I don't care what model, whether you're buying, doing rental arbitrage, co-hosting, like any of those models, get super clear on the markets that you're focusing on and give it time. Like we're in a seller's market, guys. Like it's no secret. So like people message me and be like, dude, I'm getting so frustrated. I'm like, how many offers did you put in? They're like 3. I'm like, great. Call me when you get to like 25, right? Like there's just this persistence aspect to business,
Yeah,
right? And if you look at anybody that you admire or any movie that you like, there's always this theme of them overcoming things through persistence. So again, going back to like what Joe Rogan talked about, I don't know, however many years ago that was, he's like, be the hero of your own movie, man. Like stay focused, stay persistent until you get the results that you want. Right.
yeah,
But you've got to have that clarity and you've got to have that focus if you really want to move the needle forward. And initially it might feel slow, like, man, there's not a lot of inventory here, or I'm not getting a lot of traction here. Just be patient and be persistent.
yeah. He said something really good on the podcast. I think the one 2 weeks ago. He said, "Do you want to go shallow and wide or deep and narrow?"
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's deep and narrow. So thinking about what your goal is, Like, what is your lifestyle goal that you want to create? And then how much monthly income do you need for that lifestyle goal? And then from there, it's like, all right, what markets can give me that? And where do I want to be? And you actually really have to think about it. You don't have to think when you're looking at 8 or 9 different markets because they're just there, right? You don't have to think. You just look at the market, you look at some deals, you're like, oh, there's no deal there. I'll go to the next one. Then I'll go to the next one. Then I'll go. That is very shallow and very wide. But if you can sit down and spend time, whether that's, if you're really efficient, you can do it in 5 minutes. If you need to do it 5 minutes every day for 2 weeks, or if you just sit down and really just make a plan in an hour, that's how I like to do it. Is just like turn off everything, turn off your phone, turn off the music, just really sit down and get really clear on what your goal is, what kind of lifestyle goal you want. Where do you want to be? Like, can you see yourself operating in the mountains? Can you see yourself operating in, the beach market? Can you see yourself operating just for traveling nurses? Like, get very, very deep and narrow on one thing, and results will just come so much faster because you have that narrow focus. And this has happened to me multiple times, Mike. We were just talking about this, 3 or 4 weeks ago. And this happened to me, like when I think I was 9 months in, I had 6 units and I had about $10,000 of cash flow every single month. And it was great. I was pretty comfortable. I was like, damn, this was nice. This happened pretty fast. And I was like, man, I really think I can get into, I want to buy a laundromat, and, it'd be cool to get another 4 unit or 5 unit. I know people that are doing like 30 unit multifamily deals, and we had a call and you were like, all right, what's the goal? And I was like, well, if I think about it, the goal is $20,000 a month. That's financial freedom for my wife and I. And all right, well, what's the quickest way to get to that $20,000 a month? It's not 4 different things. We focused on short-term rentals. 9 months later, we hit it. So we went very deep and narrow and scaled our co-hosting business and then bought more properties with that profit. And we were at 12 properties when we hit that 20K a month. So it's not rocket science. It just takes like some level setting on what's my lifestyle goal, what's my income goal, and then sitting down and actually thinking about it. And, nobody else can tell you where to be, right? Like, you can get coaching and get help, but you need to like actually sit down and think about these things. Thinking is the hardest work in the world, right? Napoleon Hill. It is. It's hard because it's hard. It takes discipline. So, and that's what we talked about. And she took it very well. And now her focus is like, I asked her, what is her goal? And she said, it's 15 to 20K. I was like, all right, so is it 15?
Which one is it?
Is it 15 or 20? And she said, I want to have, 1 to 2 properties owned. It's like, okay, is it 1 or 2? Where are they? Like, where are you hanging out? Are you hanging out in the mountains? You've already got one at the beach. You have another one at the beach because you already have an amazing team there. And just thinking through some of those things. And obviously having a coach or somebody bounce ideas off of, or a mentor or someone that you can bounce ideas off of, 100% it helps. But nobody's going to be able to choose that for you. So if you're struggling, you're looking at a ton of different markets right now and you're not finding any deals that work, and you're going on, the Facebook groups. I mean, we see it all the time in the free Facebook groups. Like, I can't, I lost this deal. Somebody offered this much over. Like, well, that person was probably pretty narrow and deep on what they wanted to do. So if you're not getting results right now, you're looking at too many markets. Like, level set on your goal, and then just get really deep and narrow. Keep asking yourself, what do I want? Why do I want it? 7 layers of why. And you do that consistently, and results will follow quickly.
The timing of this episode is very timely as well, right? Because if you go back and listen to the Short-Term Rental Secrets podcast that just came out, I think it's episode 99 with Kenny Bedwell, like his new tool's coming out, STR Insights, and that will really help you narrow down your focus. So go, if you haven't already, listen to that episode. Awesome episode. And then go to strinsights.com and just throw your email in there. Depending on when you watch this, I think they're launching on May 13th, possibly earlier, but that's like their definite go live date. And I've been using that tool for, 3 months or so, and it's dynamite, right? But the only other thing that I want to say on this topic before we wrap up is there's a lot of talk around having multiple streams of income, right? I've been part of a lot of different masterminds, and that was always like the sexy topic. Like, you need to have multiple streams of income. I want to clarify what that means specifically, though, because I think this gets misconstrued of like, oh, I've got a W-2 income, and then I've got some short-term rental income, and then I need like an Amazon FBA income, and then I need some other e-com income, and then I need self-storage income. And like, no, dude, that's the wrong way. That there's not enough focus in that. What you need to do is create focus. One reliable, consistent income stream. If your goal is to get out of your job, focus on one thing. That's going to replace your income. Then as that income grows above and beyond and you want to diversify, cool. Look at something else. But you got to focus on one thing first, right? Like Amazon is a great example of this because everybody's like, well, Amazon does everything. At the beginning, they did books. That was it. They did books. And then once they mastered that and all the logistics around that, then it started to expand, right? But it always had a singular focus first. So don't get caught in the shiny object syndrome. Don't feel like I need to have 50 different income streams. That's BS. Like, focus on one, master it, grow it. And then if you want to diversify, cool. Then go do that and just focus on that one other thing. But don't try and do 25 different things at once. It doesn't work. Trust me, from personal experience, it does not work. So that's it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have not gotten your tickets yet, make sure you get your tickets for the STR Wealth Conference. They are going very quickly and prices are about to go up later this week, right? They're going up by another $200. So if you have not gotten your ticket yet, go to strwealthconference.com, grab your ticket. It's going to be amazing. I'll be there. Obviously, Mike will be there. A bunch of our team members. We got speakers from all over the world that are going to be there. It's going to be dynamite and it's going to be a hell of a good time. Like, the welcome party is going to be sick. Some food, some drinks, some amazing music. Like, the venue's sick. It's the week of the CMAs. Like, it's going to be awesome. So you're going to want to be there. It's literally the talk of the industry right now. Everybody that I talk to, from vendors and other, high level operators, they're like, dude, like, I don't know how you guys pulled it off, but like, this is like the event this year. And I'm like, I told you guys this 2 months ago. Like, this is going to be the event. So make sure you guys get there. Super pumped to see you there. And that's it for this episode, guys. So have an amazing week and we'll talk to you soon. Hey, STR Nation, if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit that subscribe button and leave us a review. And in the comments, let us know what topics you want us to cover on upcoming episodes, and we'll make sure to get that in the books for you. And if you really want to learn how to launch, automate, and scale your short-term rental business, if you want to go deeper, then check out our free masterclass at strsecrets.com.